Good evening. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the New Canaan Board of Education for Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. And we're going to start by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. First, we're going to review and approve the agenda for tonight, January 20, 2026. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Laura, second?
The one change is the donation from the PFA.
Okay. And we have one change to make, a donation from the New Canaan High School PFA. Can I get a motion to approve? We got a motion from Laura. Can I get a second? Hugo, all in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. And we have to approve the minutes from our last meeting, January 5th, 2026. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes? Hugo, second. Kate, all in favor? And lastly, an approval of minutes for our January 9th, 2026 budget workshop. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes? Raquel, second. Laura, all in favor? Unanimous again. Thank you. Comments from the public. To ensure the public's right to be heard, the board has set aside time during the meeting for public comments. 2 minutes will be allotted to each speaker and a maximum of 15 minutes to each subject. Is there anyone who'd like to approach the board? Go ahead, come on up. And if you don't mind, please state your name and your street address, please.
I'm Christina Saburo, and I'm at 130 Parade Hill Road here in New Canaan. I just learned it has to be 2 minutes, so I'm like, ugh. So I'll read it from my phone. I'm here as the parent of a neurodivergent child in this district, and I'm speaking not just for our son, but for students whose communication differences are misunderstood and whose identities are shaped by fear rather than facts. Because of misinterpretation, our son was suspended for 4 days and labeled a threat, yet he was placed on a bus and sent home without supervision. A risk assessment found no danger, though we were never provided with a copy. Still, the suspension stood. That contradiction raises serious questions about whether decisions were driven by evidence or bias. At the most recent PPT, the district stated that it does not believe our son's communication or behavior are related to ADHD or autism, but instead to mental health concerns. We obtained the district-directed assessments and input from his providers, and every professional agreed no severe mental illness and no threat. Despite this, the same narrative continued. We also met directly with the superintendent regarding these concerns, and we were told we would receive follow-up and updates. Despite reaching out multiple times, that follow-up never occurred. Here's the reality of our son. He succeeds academically, earns lead roles in school plays, engages with peers, and functions independently outside of school without safety concerns. Yet inside school, he's repeatedly treated as a risk, despite no history of violence and no documented threat. For years, 7 years, he's never been educated in the least restrictive environment. We think this is based on a narrative that was never meaningfully reassessed. When autism-related communication is treated as mental illness, it does not protect a child. It limits opportunity and independence. That is discrimination in effect. So our question to the board is simple. Are we educating our children based on who they are or on fear and outdated narratives? And are we following protocols when we punish them, especially considering that he's disabled?
Thank you for your comments.
Do I stay here? Do you have any questions for me? Or?
By policy, we can't engage in the...
Yeah, we are not allowed to engage with you by policy, but if you have any more comments, there's a second comments section toward the end of the meeting where you'll be allotted another 2 minutes if you have more to say.
Yeah, well, I have a lot to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move to our action items now, and the first is a donation from the South PTC.
Yes, there are, two donations in the one motion here, both related to the courtyard. One, the $16,895, is to overhaul the south courtyard by adding multiple plantings, artificial turf, rubber flooring, and planting beds, and to add a sensory wall as well over there at South. And then the second is to put in irrigation for the plantings that would go into the courtyard. So it's two separate projects, both of which are made possible by the generosity of the PTC. We have an itemized estimate here, and it includes a $1,500 donation from the company doing the larger project to help defray some of those costs as well. So that's how the number gets to $16,895. And we want to say, thank you to the company for doing that. And the sprinkler as well is all set to be installed in order to protect those plantings. So together, this would be for that south courtyard, both the artificial turf and the rubber flooring, planting beds, and sensory walls for students, thanks to the generosity of the South PTC.
Great, thank you. So I'm going to move to accept 2 donations from the South Elementary School PTC in the amounts of $16,895 for courtyard renovations and $6,500 for irrigation. Can I get a motion to accept? Erica, first. Second, Hugo. All in favor? Thank you. It's unanimous. The second action item is the New Canaan High School PFA.
Yes, and this just came in over the weekend, so thank you for adjusting the agenda in order to review this. Thanks to a strong annual appeal this fall, the NCHS PFA has the funds that they want to spend in this calendar year. So they felt a speaker would be a great way to positively impact the most students. They reached out to NC Cares and a few others to learn if they had any speakers in mind that they thought would be good additions to the program here. And they landed on Tanner Clark, because his name kept coming up as an option. Tanner's recently spoken in Wilton and spoken in Darien. Some of our folks had gone to see him and to understand his message. And what Clark talks about is encourages students to find 1 second of strength when given an option, and there's a connection with cell phone use, with technology, with good choices in their lives. He teaches students how to use that 1 second of strength to rise above distractions, digital or otherwise, and limiting beliefs in their lives, and to take control of their future. So I know that our high school administration, SACS administration, others have looked into this and all feel that this is a worthwhile endeavor for our schools. So the high school PFA is coordinating with the SACS PTC, who is kicking in $1,000, and the high school is putting in $6,480 in order to bring Tanner in to have 2 presentations here at the high school and 1 over at SACS for the middle school students. So we're looking at the dates. It looks like February is going to be the best time to do this. As you know, the calendar gets very busy into the spring. So that's why this comes tonight, in order to have this approval so they can move forward with their planning.
Awesome. So thank you to the PFAs. I'd like to make a move to accept a donation from the New Canaan High School PFA in the amount of $7,480 to support the Tanner Clark presentation. Can I get a motion? Kate, second. Hugo, all in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
And lastly, for our action items is the Superintendent's 2026-2027 budget proposal, and that's the second reading of that.
Yep, and just want to say thank you to the board for our thoughtful budget workshop last Friday. We spent, as you know, 3 hours together looking at the ins and outs of the budget and going back and forth and discussing where we are with things. I thought that it was time very well spent, and I'm open to any feedback or conversation if you like. Otherwise, as you know, the process is that the Board of Education then would adopt the budget tonight, and then Thursday morning I'll be going to the Board of Selectmen in order to share the Board of Education's budget with that group. We talk about the operating budget, but really focus on capital more, and that process just continues, as you know. So at this point, we're looking for, of course, any feedback or comments or anything else, but we feel very confident about the budget that you have, feel that it appropriately resources our district's needs, both in the operating and the capital side, and feel that this is what we need to not just maintain, but continue to move forward in the good work that we're doing for our kids. Thank you.
Any questions for Dr. Lutzy on the budget, or anything people want to talk about that we left sort of unfinished on Friday? Okay, not seeing anything. So With that, I'd like to move to adopt as a second reading the superintendent's 2026-2027 budget proposal as first moved and seconded by Mr. Wexler and Mr. Hayes respectively. Can I get a motion? Laura, second.
Just have to
Oh,
vote. It's a
oh,
second.
gosh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor? Again, unanimous. Thank you.
So congratulations, it is now no longer the superintendent's budget, it is now the New Canaan Board of Education's budget, and I will be very proud to present this forward and to advocate on behalf of our kids in our district. So, thank you.
Okay, now on to the statement of accounts with Mr. Sean O'Neill. Oh, Sean O'Keefe. Sean, we Irishmen, you know.
Top of the morning. By the way, do we have to approve the capital as well?
No, we do it as one budget.
Okay,
We've done it as one budget.
okay. Okay, December results, as of December 31st, our operating fund actual, 47.7 million, or 41.9% of our full-year budget of 113.8. In addition to the 47.7 expended, we have an additional 60.6 million, or 53% of the budget encumbered, mostly for property services, salaries, and benefits, leaving a remaining unencumbered balance of 5.5 million. On page 4, there's an attainment analysis that compares the 41.9% attainment that we have year-to-date, and you'll see that that compares to 42.9% attainment a year ago at the same time, which indicates that we're spending at a slower rate than we were a year ago, which is a very good indicator that we are going to be able to not only achieve plan, but improve it, do better than it. For grants, awarded grants to date, $1.947 million. Year-to-date expenditures, $689,000, leaving a remaining balance as of December 31st of $1,258,000. And again, most of those grants are two-year grants, so we can have 2 years to spend it. In school lunch, our revenue through December is $1.238 million, or 38.9% of our full-year budget of $3,181,614, and a year-to-year dollar increase of $8,000, or 0.7% year-to-year increase. Within the revenue, sales are up $2,000, or 0.2%, and catering is up $7,000, or 27%. On the expense side, through December, we've incurred $1,116,520, or 36.6% of the full year 26 expense budget, which is a year-to-year decrease of $42,000, or minus 36.5%, which is driven primarily by reduced grocery and equipment purchases, and partly offset by an increase in dairy purchases. Year-to-date net income through December showing a positive $122,000, resulting in a current fund balance of $782,000. For facility rental donations and summer school activities, facility rentals revenue $73,000 through December, with expenses at $157K and net income minus $84K, leaving a current fund balance of a positive $370,000. Donations revenue, $86,000 to date, expenses $98,000, net income minus $13,000, leaving a fund balance of a positive $137,000. Finally, summer school revenue, $114,000 with expenses of $114,000, so essentially break even. Fund balance remaining at $144,000. And the last item I'm going to cover is and this requires board approval, is every year during the budget process, we take a look at our current year budget in detail, and we reassess accounts that we believe we are going to run higher and other accounts that we expect to run lower than originally budgeted. The goal is to create a good year-to-year, a realistic year-to-year for next year's budget. And so bottom line is the budget stays the same at $113 million. It's just pluses and minuses. And you can see on the bottom of page 2 that we're still at $113.8 million. In salaries, we had some savings. We believe we have savings in salaries totaling $622,000. Employee benefits, we increased by $100,000, primarily in payroll taxes and unemployment. In contract services, we increased it by $59,000, and it's primarily additional DATCO services, and partly offset by interns, which there was one intern we were unable to fill, one position. In property services, we increased those accounts by $403,000, and it's primarily driven by electricity, our latest estimate of electricity, and as well maintenance service contracts, which we've been running higher than budget this year. Purchase services, we increased $91,000, and it's driven primarily by two items. Athletic transportation, we needed another $25,000, and the elimination of the IRS propane rebate, which we budgeted for $62,000, and that program was eliminated, so we will not see that. So we had to increase that account by that $62,000. And then finally, supplies decrease of $32,000, primarily driven by textbook savings in world language. Any questions?
Any questions for Sean? Erica?
Could you talk a little bit about the salary savings, and do they fall in a specific area or not? And
I have a breakout of the salaries. It's the certified salaries is where we're seeing the savings, and partly offset by non-certified, where we needed to increase. So certified, we see savings of about $900,000, and we believe we need non-certified increase of about $300,000. That nets out to the $600,000.
okay, and for any of those certified, are we still hoping to fill, like if these were unfilled positions, to fill them over the course of this year? Or
Say it again, I'm sorry?
if these were any unfilled positions, do we think we might fill them?
There are some unfilled positions that I know of that we, right now, will not be filling.
So we've made the decision for the remainder of this year to.
Not all of it, but
Okay.
some of it.
Any other questions for Sean? Thank you, Mr. O'Keefe.
To accept the transfers as listed in the statement of accounts.
So I need a motion to accept the transfers with regard to Sean's aforementioned statement of accounts. Can I get a motion to accept? Josh, second. Erica. All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Comments from the public?
Didn't know it was coming up so soon. I want to use my remaining time to speak about something that often gets lost in these conversations, our son's own voice. Our son has consistently advocated for himself. He has asked respectfully and repeatedly to be better understood. He has asked for more autonomy and dignity at school, and for his supports to be faded, not because he doesn't need help, but because constant one-to-one supervision has become humiliating and has made him a target for bullying. He has asked to be seen for his strengths, not defined by fear or reduced to a narrative that no longer reflects who he is. What matters most is how he has responded. Despite being misunderstood and bullied, he has shown resilience. Despite humiliation, he has remained sincere. Despite conflict, he chooses kindness. After the incident that led to his suspension, our son himself asked for a meeting with the other student involved. not to argue, but because he wanted to move forward. That request came from him. He told us recently that he will not let any of this get him down because he wants to be happy. Those are not the words or actions of a child experiencing serious mental illness or posing a risk as suggested by everyone in the district, and not by anyone outside the district, not by any of his professionals, not by any of the people that the school has asked us to send him to. They are the words of a child asking to be trusted, respected, and allowed to grow. Outside of school, he functions independently and thrives. Inside school, his differences are too often overshadowed by his strengths. Our son's not asking for special treatment, he's asking for fair treatment, and so are we. For an education that understands who he is and responds accordingly. So will we meet children like
been
him with
2
fear
minutes.
or with understanding?
It's been 2 minutes.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you, sorry that I got emotional.
Announcements and future business.
Sure. So, future business, we have our Board of Education workshop and orientation on Thursday, January 29th. And our next regular Board of Education meeting will be Monday, February 2nd. Just want to let the board know that, as you're aware, we switched to our updated bus routes this morning. It was an interesting start to the morning because due to the long weekend and the cold weather, we had 5 buses that were not functional this morning when we came in. So Murphy's Law. But we worked through it. We have spares, and we had the spares on the roads and did what we could do. We did have another bus breakdown. It was, again, replaced, but there was one route that was running later, about 15 minutes later than it should have been because of that broken down bus. Once those kinks were worked out in the first tier, we had a smoother second tier and a smoother third tier, and we were able to stay relatively close to our timelines in the afternoon as well. So by accounts, as if this were a first day of school, I'd be telling you it was a wild success. It's not, right? It's January 20th. So we wanted 100%. We're close. We're going to continue to work with a couple of families, but we are off to a very good start. And this is what we needed to do in order to be sure that the routes we have running are the ones that we can start scheduling our kindergartners into, bringing new folks into as with the in-migration happens, the out-migration and the times. The system had to be set up correctly so that it does what it's meant to do for the long term. I do want to say thanks to Dave Scarpone, who has really been spearheading this for us down at the bus yard, working with the drivers, and really helped see this project all the way through. Steve and Colleen from DATCO have been working very hard as well. Again, under Dave's direction, Sal's direction, and some others, they've been doing quite a bit of the routing for us. And the folks at Traversa have been very helpful also. I had them take a look through the system about a week ago to make sure we were ready to go live. You know, they've been involved with this. I've been meeting with them weekly since the summer to sort of help to project plan and make sure that we were hitting the milestones we had to hit. So all of those folks came together, and internally want to say thanks to Rick Rua, who's our data team manager, who helped with the communication over the weekend and making sure all of those things were working. So we won't be satisfied until we have it exactly 100% right. But as a first day with a whole new set of routes and systems and pickup, we're off to a very good start. And I'm very happy to be able to report that. And I want to say thanks to our principals who really worked over the weekend to make sure that the data in the system was current, that the communication was there, that folks were going in and checking. So really, it was a large-scale project. It's a whole system change in the middle of the school year. We were reminded constantly why this work is typically done in the summer, because it is very hard to do and such tight timelines. You know, if you hit a snag over the weekend and it's a holiday weekend, you're not getting tech support, right? So a lot of things had to be figured out on the fly a little bit. But the team pulled together and did it, and I think they did a fabulous job. So thanks to the community, thanks to the board, thanks for everybody's patience as we've been doing this, because again, we know it's a big ask, but it really was the only way to make sure that we have a system in place that we feel confident building upon now as we begin continuing the registration for our kindergartners and begin thinking about creating routes for the 26-27 school year, because that work really starts in the next month or two, and it takes all the way through into the midsummer until we're up and running and going. So, want to say thanks to that. And as I mentioned before, our Board of Selectmen meeting on Thursday morning, I'll be sharing with them the Board of Education's proposed budget, and I'm sure it'll be recorded and live streamed, et cetera, and looking forward to that conversation as well. So, thank you.
Terrific. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Hugo, second. Josh, all in favor? Good night, everyone. Thank you.